Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're literally going to transform your digital habits. Whether you're just starting out in college or you're gearing up for the professional workplace, you know that searching online isn't just about typing a few words into a box anymore. It's a highly active, strategic process. We're going to map out a professional, chronological workflow for finding, evaluating, and organizing information. That way, you'll never lose track of a brilliant source or your own hard work ever again. Let's dive in. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be following the life cycle of digital information through 4 stages: using search tools strategically, comparing information sources, tracking your notes and sources, and finally managing your digital files. Kicking things off with Section 1, using search tools strategically. You see, professional searching is an active, iterative process. It's definitely not a one-and-done typing exercise. A strong search actually begins before your hands even touch the keyboard. You have to ask yourself exactly what you need to find. Are you looking for a quick definition, a government regulation, maybe a product comparison, or a specific workplace procedure? We call this search intent. For instance, asking, "What is cloud storage?" is just asking for a simple definition. But asking which cloud storage service is best for a small business, well, that requires comparison, hard evidence, and decision-making. A really common rookie mistake is using the exact same broad search strategy for both of these totally different tasks. So to put that search intent into action, you use a query. That's the exact string of words you're typing into the tool. Now, if you just throw in a weak query like privacy, you're going to be absolutely overwhelmed with millions of totally unrelated hits. But look at the stronger query: student data privacy best practices college assignments. That totally narrows down your exact intent by locking in the main topic, the important specific details, and the context. Good searching is iterative. You might start a bit broad, see what pops up, and then aggressively refine your keywords until they're laser precise. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand the difference between a result and a source. A search result is just the item listed on your screen. A title, a clickable link, maybe a tiny little preview snippet. Think of it like a signpost. It's pointing you somewhere, but it's not the actual information itself. In any academic or professional setting, you should literally never cite just a search result. To get to the actual truth, you must always click through to evaluate the source itself. The source is the foundational material. It's the actual web page, the scholarly article, the government report, or the original document. This is the stuff you actually read, evaluate, and ultimately cite in your college essays or your workplace reports. And finally, we arrive at the answer. The answer is the conclusion you put together after thoroughly reviewing those original sources. Now, here's a big one. An AI-generated summary might pop up right at the top of your screen, presenting itself as the definitive answer. But remember, an AI summary still absolutely needs to be fact-checked against original sources before you can treat it as a factual answer. It's a fantastic starting point, for sure, but it is not the final authority. Here's the thing you really need to keep in mind: search results do not just magically appear in some neutral, objective order. Platforms rank these results either to keep you endlessly engaged on their site, or quite simply because somebody paid top dollar for that #1 spot. Just because a result shows up first does not automatically mean it's the most accurate or trustworthy source. You always have to critically evaluate why a result is being shown to you. Keep a really close eye out for sneaky labels like sponsored, promoted, or ad. To build up your overall search toolkit, you really need to match your method to your mission. A basic search is great for quick, everyday definitions, but it can be way too broad for serious work. An advanced search requires you to actively use specific filters, like exact phrases, date ranges, or specific web domains. This gives you massive pinpoint precision for academic work. An AI-supported search? Well, that's fantastic for brainstorming or simplifying a really complex topic, just as long as you remember to verify those summaries. Moving right along to Section 2, comparing information sources. Okay, so once you've successfully navigated the search tools and found your links, the next critical step is matching the type of source to your specific task. Because, let's face it, not all information is created equal. Depending on your assignment, you're going to draw from 4 distinct categories. Public web sources are super easy to access for general tutorials or breaking news, but their quality varies wildly. Academic sources, which you usually find via library databases, offer much stronger evidence and peer-reviewed credibility. Government and nonprofit sources are your absolute go-to for official rules, raw statistics, and industry standards. And finally,
Workplace knowledge sources, like an internal employee handbook, provide the exact specific procedures you need for a particular organization.
You really have to align the credibility of the source with the actual demands of your task. A quick blog post might help you wrap your head around a concept simply, but it's almost always too weak to serve as hard evidence in a formal research paper. Need bulletproof scholarly evidence? Hit the library database. Need the official cybersecurity guidelines? You gotta pull a government source. Need to figure out how to reset your company email password? Check your workplace knowledge base. It's all about using the right tool for the job.
Which brings us to Section 3, Tracking Notes and Sources. Look, finding excellent, highly credible sources is completely useless if you end up losing track of them. A major beginner mistake is copying and pasting text into a blank document and totally forgetting where it came from. To avoid accidental plagiarism and save yourself a massive headache, you should always clearly label your notes. Tag them with direct quote for exact words, paraphrase when you've rewritten the author's idea in your own words, and summary for a quick, broad overview. But most importantly, always tag your own reactions as my thought. This clearly separates your own original ideas from the author's ideas, which makes the actual writing process incredibly smooth later on. To manage all this tracking effectively, you really need a research log. Now, don't worry, this doesn't have to be some overly complicated software. Just a simple spreadsheet works wonders. It tracks your search terms, the title of the source, and the useful finding. But I want you to pay special attention to the verification status field. Not every single source is ready to be used immediately. By labeling a claim as verified, needs another source, or outdated, you're actively building professional documentation habits. It perfectly separates the rock-solid facts from the unchecked information. And finally, Section 4, Managing Digital Files. For our final phase, we have to secure all that incredible information you've just gathered. The difference between an amateur mistake and a highly professional workflow literally starts with your file names. We've all done it, naming a file Final, Final 2, or New Version, but that just creates massive confusion. When the midnight deadline hits, you won't know what on earth to submit. Check out the improved file name. It clearly identifies the specific project, exactly what the file is, and the exact date it was finalized. Also notice how it uses underscores and hyphens instead of spaces. That simple trick ensures your files sort chronologically and stay perfectly organized on any computer system.
Of course, a great file name needs a great home. Please never save your documents directly to a messy, cluttered desktop. Instead, create a logical hierarchy of folders. Start broad with the course, then drill down to the module, then the assignment, and finally create specific subfolders for your source notes, your rough drafts, and your final submission. Building this structure prevents lost work and significantly reduces your stress levels as those deadlines creep up. Imagine a workplace scenario where a team uses a chaotic folder structure and accidentally presents an older, unedited version of a pitch to a massive client. Yikes. Proper folder hierarchy completely prevents those costly real-world errors.
Finally, we have to talk about securing your data. Cloud storage is incredibly convenient for accessing your files from anywhere, but let's be real, it's only effective if you actively manage the clutter. You need to routinely clean out outdated folders, track your document version history so you always know what changed during revisions, and most importantly, keep an extra, secure backup of your most critical work in a safe, secondary location. You never know when a device is going to suddenly fail on you. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really reflect on this final question. Are your current digital habits actually preparing you for professional success, or is it time to seriously upgrade your search and organization workflow? By implementing the strategies we've discussed today, searching with precise intent, evaluating your sources critically, logging your notes clearly, and managing your files like a true professional, you are giving yourself a massive competitive edge in literally any academic or workplace setting. Thanks so much for joining me, and have fun applying these foundational techniques to all your future projects.